Crystal, if friends asked you to go on a trip halfway around the world and you didn't have to plan any of it, would you go?
I wouldn't even let them finish the sentence before I would say yes.
You're already throwing your bags in the back of their car.
Yes, like, I'm ready. Glad
and what if it was for you to go back to Japan again?
Yes. Yes. H-E double hockey sticks. Yes.
So from Hiroshima, or is it Hiroshima? We'll ask our guests, to Tokyo with a stop in Korea. Adventurer Cosette flew from the USA halfway around the world, and we're going to hear about it today.
I am beyond excited. Like, this is like talking about Japan is like, for me, is like Joe talking about board games.
It's about you listening to stories of my board games, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
I know.
Please. And then at the end of this episode and every episode, you are going to hear our gear of the day pick. So if you're looking for best in class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page at stackingadventures.com/GOTD. You'll help the show and help yourself adventure better and for less money. Now I say, let's get the show on the road.
You don't have to say, now I say it. You just say it.
I just say
it. Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome to the Stacking Adventures podcast. Every adventure has a story, and today we're going to hear a story about Korea and about Japan with Adventurer Cosette. Super happy. Crystal, you buckled in, ready to go?
Yes. Well, no, I'm not buckled in. I'm just ready to go. Let's
do it. Cosette, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Joe? Crystal?
I'm great now that you're here, and I can't. We saw the pictures. You were nice enough to share photos of your time in Japan and talk about somebody that looked like they were having a blast. It clearly looked like you had a great time.
Oh, yeah. You look like you're ready to come home.
Yeah, it was definitely a trip of a lifetime. Too many memorable events to even... It took me a while. It took me a few weeks to even sort through what I even did.
So tell us about the trip. How did you end up going on this adventure?
Well, it was kind of weird because my brother and his new wife had told me that they were planning on going to Japan, and that was it. Like, and they travel all the time everywhere. So I just kind of knew that they were going. And one day I was like, man, it'd be really cool if I could go along with them to Japan. And literally that night, my brother texted me. It was like, so you want to go for 15 days to Japan? And I was like, what? And I was in a bar, which it's kind of underground, so we don't really get a lot of cell service. So I ran all the way back up to surface level, and I texted back, yes. I just need to figure out if I can get off because it was one of our really busy seasons for work. So I was like, yes, I do. Let me figure out how to make this happen. But absolutely.
Wow. How long until, wait a minute, how long until the trip was going to happen though, Cosette?
It was only like a month out. It might've been just a smidge less than a month.
How do you take 2 weeks off work a month before?
Well, I am a server. So the best part of my job is that it's flexible. Unfortunately, I also live in Phoenix, so our busy season is during the winter. And so you want to work as much as you can to make all the money to last the whole year. And it was one of our busiest months that I needed to leave for. But I was like, I have the money saved, and how do you pass that up? I have to go to Japan.
That's true. And a lot of people, even for the 1 month, because they're like, okay, there's no way I'm going to find a reasonable flight for that, this late notice. Like, because some people are like, all right, should I book way in advance or should I wait? So what was the over under on your flight, you would say?
Well, I mean, I just got to booking it right away, and I knew it was going to be expensive anyway. And my brother and Jenna, his wife, had just booked not too long before that. So I just kind of like, they just told me when and where. And so I just kind of looked up the cheapest flights on Google that I could find. And luckily I got Delta on the way out. Unfortunately, I got United on the way back, which is my least
You're not
favorite.
a United fan.
I hate United. Hate it. Delta's my favorite though. But I also paid the extra money to make sure that I could actually secure a seat ahead of time. because I was not going to try and sit in the middle for a 12-hour flight. So it cost me a good probably $1,700 for my flights, but I knew what I was paying for.
Yeah.
No.
Crystal is one of the only people I know who likes sitting in the middle on those long flights.
What's wrong with the middle? It's like, I've done it. Dubai, I was in the middle.
Crystal likes stretching out, making new friends.
And I'm super tall too, but I didn't mind. I don't mind it.
She is. I'm with you, Cosette. No, thank you. Oh. Yeah, I know.
No, I'm 5'8", and it's too crowded for me. I need the aisle.
I'm 5'10".
Yeah, so you went. I like the window on those long flights just so I can lay my head against the side of the plane.
I was looking up. I actually looked up the plane and how it was, because sometimes in the directory it doesn't. You can't really tell. So I actually went to the far back where they had 4 seats in front and then only 3 behind it. And I got that aisle seat on the last 3. So it had like this extra little room.
Oh, sweet.
Side space.
So I was like, score. On the way back, it was still another aisle seat, but we'll talk about it later. But it was a very good idea for me to have an aisle seat next to the bathroom. I can tell you that.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I don't know that I like that foreshadowing.
Oh, no. It was not good.
So you got your tickets. You're ready to go. You wrote us that you use Google Flights to look up different prices to make sure you got a great flight at a great price. And I don't know that I know any place better than that to look. Yep. So you arrive in Korea. Were you able to sleep on the plane?
Yes. I did a pretty good job sleeping.
Is there a method? Is there a strategy you use when trying to sleep on the plane, especially if you're in economy? Man, I have a hard time sleeping on the plane.
I actually found a neck pillow. I keep trying neck pillows and they all are just terrible.
I hate them too. Crystal loves them.
I love them.
Well, yeah, I found one that actually works. I got onto Amazon and did some, like stalking of the reviews and things like that. Okay. And I actually found one that you can wrap around you and like there's Velcro. And so it kind of keeps your head up. And it worked great.
Okay. I know the one that you're talking about, Cosette, and Cheryl got it for our last trip and couldn't make it work. She's like, I just can't. She's like, this thing has so many great reviews. And to your point, that one with the Velcro has a ton of great reviews. And I see so many people love it, and she couldn't make it work. But I guess it's going to be different for everybody. Okay, so you get to Korea. Paint us a picture. I've never been. Crystal, have you been to Korea?
No,
I've never been to Korea. Tell us about getting off the plane in Korea and take us on a Korean adventure, Cosette.
Well, I have been to Korea before. I was actually stationed there when I was in the military. So I wasn't too scared of getting there because I know that a lot of things are in English and written in English. But so my brother Garrett and his wife Jenna were on a different flight, obviously. So I just thought, I came in through customs. It was a breeze. There were barely any people there. Came through, was hanging out. And I know that my brother had like landed about the same time. So I was texting him and I was like, where are you? And they're like, well, we're still in line for customs. And I was like, really? Because there's nobody there. What's going on? So I went to where they told me they were, and it was crickets. There was nobody there. I'm like, what is going on? Well, I realized that I landed in Terminal 1. They landed in Terminal 2. And so I had to figure out how to use their like train and subway system. And I was so lost. I was not prepared for that because my brother and Jenna had been prepared. So I was just going to kind of leech off of their knowledge. And then I had an eSIM and that wasn't working very well. And my card wasn't working to buy a ticket. So I was like, I don't know how to get to you guys. I have no clue how to get to where you are. So finally I figured it out and I was able to take the train just to their terminal and meet up with them. But I was like, geez, I'm right in the country right away. You know, when you get in there in the military, somebody's there to meet you. They pick you up. Yeah. They take you where you're supposed to go. They tell you what's going on. And I had no clue what was happening.
So it sounds like the signage at the signage in the airport, not great.
It wasn't so much the signage, it's just, it's so overwhelming because there's so much stuff going on. So I at least was able to get to where I needed to be. I just wasn't exactly sure because they have like kiosks for bus tickets, kiosks for subway tickets, kiosks for train tickets. And I needed to know where to go and then which ones to get. And it was just about finding that out. And when I finally figured it out, then my card wasn't working. So I just had to keep trying, and I finally made it on there, and I finally met up with them. I was like, oh God, thank God, people I know, we can be lost together.
And I know now it seems like nobody uses cash anymore. So you were dependent on card for everything. Because I know sometimes I'll get some cash while at the airport at the whatever terminal they have, but no.
Well, there wasn't a need to, because it was all pretty much cashless, and I just used Apple Pay most of the time that I was there. When I did meet up with my brother and Jenna, we did stop somewhere to get some cash out for them. I had cash, but it was in US dollars, and I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not. And I figured whenever I need to use it, that's when I'll kind of figure out the ATM or whatever I need to figure out. So,
and never had to.
Yeah, I did not use very much cash at all. And I was the first one to switch mine over, and then we just kind of used whatever I had among the three of us. And then when I ran out, then they kind of got their own cash, and it's a good thing to go with your brother, you know.
It's
beautiful.
Your little brother, and you can kind of, you know, boss him around a little bit.
Nice.
Give him money.
Oh,
perfect.
Nice.
I need cash, little brother. In Korea, most people speak English, or do you know some Korean from when you were there before?
A lot of them do learn English in school. And then you also have a lot of them that when it's military service is mandatory there for like a couple of years. So most of them will go in, and the best job in the military is to work with our military. So a lot of them learn English that way as well. So you can find a lot of people who know English. And there's also just like helpful people standing around the subway system too. And we found a guy who was like, he spoke fluent English, and we were kind of lost in where we were going. And he was able to point the way to what we needed to do. And it was pretty easy.
That's super. Okay. So you're out of the airport now. You find your brother and your sister-in-law. Tell us about what you saw in Korea.
Again, it wasn't a surprise to me, but it's just the difference between our culture and theirs is just so different, and everything is just so big and bright, and it's just kind of overwhelming and crazy, you know. And then I was in Seoul, Korea, so it's way bigger than any city that I really have been in here. I mean, I've been in LA, but it doesn't seem as big, I guess. So you're just walking around, there's just people everywhere, and you can very easily navigate. Like we used pretty much Google Maps for most of it, and we were able to navigate our way through the subway systems and get to our hotel room. But yeah, it was just kind of walking around with the crowd mostly.
How is a Korean hotel?
Well, the first one that we had, it was more of like a hostel, but you got your own room. Ooh. And I will say that with all of the hotel rooms and all the places that we stayed, they all had your toiletries. They had razors. They had clothes for you to sleep in.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first place we got gave us condoms, you know.
Okay.
Hey, just in case.
Yeah.
I love it.
When I got there, I sat down.
If you meet some locals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can be ready for anything.
Or for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know.
What were the prices like?
Well, so I think the first night, I actually have it here. I want to say it was like $600 for 2 rooms for 2 nights. Okay. And they were actually pretty decent rooms. I mean, they're not like huge rooms like US rooms at all. I got like a double bed, really big TV, and the bathroom is like pretty much, it was a walk-in bathroom, and then like shower, toilet, all that kind of stuff. So it was a pretty decent size.
So it's $150 a night per room. If I'm doing the math right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was because we each got our own rooms.
I just looked up Seoul, almost 3 times bigger than Los Angeles.
Wow.
Nearly 3 times bigger.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely
gigantic. Huge. Over 9 million people live in Seoul.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
That is just crazy. So sounds like a cool place. You go back there. You would stay at that type of place again, like a hostel?
Yeah, because it wasn't super hostile-y. You know,
right,
I had my own room, so I could actually sleep. I didn't have to worry about, you know, sleeping around 15 other people. Some of them
sure.
snoring.
Securing all your stuff. Yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking though, if that's a hostel, Cosette, I'm just thinking about I mean, a full blown hotel would be very expensive then, I would think, in Seoul.
I think it depends on where you want to be. Jenna is the one who did she did kind of all the homework for this, and she booked everything for us. And her thought was she wanted to stay at all the places that were like right off of a subway station or like close to the things that we needed, especially for travel. So I don't know, like Korea is actually not that expensive. So I don't know if we just found a place that just happened to be that expensive because of the location.
Yeah.
But nothing else there is really all that expensive. Japan is definitely much more expensive than Korea is.
We have VT hanging out with us live on YouTube, and I've never had a comment like VT's comment. VT might be oversharing when VT says, "Hello, I love Korea. I'm watching this while I poop."
Yeah.
I hope everything comes out okay, VT.
Bringing us.
I hope you have a bidet.
Look before you flush.
That is fantastic. So VT asked if we would respond to their questions, and the answer, you just saw it, VT.
So
absolutely. But VT has a great question. Speaking of poop, and that is, as you know, man, those Japanese toilets, Cosette, are amazing, right? First time I ever sat on a Japanese toilet was at the airport. Was at the Harita airport, and that thing was incredible.
Yeah.
It was warm.
It warm?
Yep. It was warm. It played a little song while it flushed. Like this thing was amazing. And I used to listen to this podcast with this guy, Major Nelson, and he would go on and on about the toilets in Japan. I'm like, they're not that big a deal. Then after that day, I was like, they are a big deal. But VT wants to know, are the Korean toilets as nice as the Japanese toilets?
No. Korea itself, I believe, is kind of behind Japan a lot with that kind of stuff. And you'd actually see more of the Eastern toilets there. I mean, we didn't see so many when I was there this last time visiting, but when I lived there before, you'll go in and you'll have maybe like 3 or 4 Western style toilets. And then the rest will be like the Eastern style that just have the hole in the ground, like the ceramic hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're a little bit more Westernized, but they are not to the toilet scale of Japan.
I don't think anybody is.
There. No.
We are not worthy. All right. Any tourist attractions we should see that you saw with your brother and sister-in-law while you were in Korea?
Well, 100%. I think everybody needs to go to the DMZ. Just for the history of it and to understand it. I will say that when I lived there, though, you could do a lot more things there. And I'm really glad I got the opportunity to go back then, because now you can't. There are these buildings that used to be able to go in that straddle North and South Korea and just kind of see where their meetings take place and things like that. Cool stories behind those too. You can't do that anymore because, unfortunately, a U.S. soldier a few years ago defected to North Korea when he was on one of those tours. So now you can't do that. And then we were there. You kind of go up to the border, and there's this building there that you can usually go out onto this huge balcony, and they have binoculars that you can look through, and you can see the city in North Korea, it's all propaganda. It's fake. So you can look in there and see that like it's a fake window, fake windows, but they light it up from inside, and it's kind of creepy and kind of cool at the same time. But North Korea told them, if you let anybody else go out on this balcony and look at us through binoculars, we'll shoot them. So now we can't go out there. Yeah. So our tour guide actually brought his own binoculars. So when we were inside the building, he's like, you can look out through the window with our binoculars and look. But it was just, there's so much smog and stuff from China that you really, really had to look, and you could maybe see the flag, which it's a gigantic flag, but you could barely see it. But so it kind of sucks that Garrett and Jenna didn't quite get the experience that I got when I saw it the first time. But I still think it kind of needs to be seen. You get to go down in this one of their tunnels that they had dug to go from underneath North Korea and up into South Korea. But these were made for little people, and we are not little people. So you have these helmets on and you're ducking, and numerous times my brother hit his head because you forget that you need to keep ducking and you'll stand up and bam. But it's definitely something that I feel like everybody needs to do for sure.
I went through some of the Viet Cong tunnels when we were in Vietnam, and I was so claustrophobic. I was just so claustrophobic. And luckily and then we get to some of the rooms they had in there. They would have mannequins set up showing how people lived in the tunnels. And I was so happy we get to a room. But between those rooms, I just had to remember to keep breathing and keep moving because they were tiny. I can't imagine going through any of those tunnels. Like, no, thanks. So that's Korea. Anything else we need to see while we're in Korea?
So we went to a night market where it was just, there's a big shopping area and it's kind of like outdoor shopping. And then in all the walkways, they have all the stalls with like all the different kinds of foods. And they are leaning pretty hard into, what's the Korean show that everybody's into? Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Yeah. In a lot of the stalls, they have the little.
So a few people had to die while you were there?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. My brother didn't come back.
Started the trip. Sorry, man. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. They had a guy like dressed in the whole like pink outfit and playing the games with somebody. So yeah, they're leaning pretty hard into it. It was pretty cool.
That is
cool. The food? Yeah. Anything we should try or you try?
So I will say before I go any further that I don't eat meat, which I probably should have started before I went just so I could eat more. But I mean, so my brother and Jenna obviously tried a lot of the food and they liked it. I got some pretty good potatoes and things like that. They do it's kind of like s'mores where it's like frozen ice cream on the inside and then they blowtorch a marshmallow on the outside. So I ate a lot of sugar when I was there because their treats are just amazing. And me and my brother have a huge sweet tooth. So we had a lot of that kind of stuff. And it was just really cool. Just, the markets and they're all like frying stuff up for you and all the weird little things that you don't see here, like all the, squid on a stick and stuff like that.
A friend of mine really likes kimchi who lived there. Really like kimchi. I tried kimchi when we were in Southeast Asia, and certainly so then I wasn't at the home of it like Korea would be, but I didn't love it.
So the first time I was there, when I was actually living there, we went out with a couple of Katusa, that's their military that's assigned to us. And this is when I did eat meat. So I was out there eating Korean barbecue and I tried some kimchi and I was like, I don't know. I don't like this. And I was like, okay, I've tried it before. And I asked the Katusa guy, I was like, should I try it again just to make sure? And he's like, nah. And I did, for some reason, I didn't listen to him. And I'm like, that's kind of stupid. So when we were back out this time, I made sure to try it again. And actually, it wasn't so bad.
Really?
Stuff that I had,
I like it on other stuff.
Yeah, you do like it
with other stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it with other stuff.
But I don't know if it's just because I've aged considerably since I was there before, or I don't know. But it actually it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like amazing. It was just more of like a condiment, I guess.
Right,
kinda,
like sauerkraut.
Yeah, and I love sauerkraut. My people are German. I've grown up on sauerkraut, so
Cosette's contractually obligated to like sauerkraut
yes,
if she's
from
a German family. Like you can't say no to that.
No.
So you leave, you say goodbye to Korea, and you head for Japan. How long a flight is it from Korea to Japan? To Hiroshima, right? Is it Hiroshima or Hiroshima? Which one do we say, guys?
I think it's Hiroshima.
Okay.
I think so too.
Hiroshima or now I don't know.
I've just heard it pronounced both ways.
You say it enough, and I can't remember.
You hear it both ways, so I guess we'll call it Hiroshima for now. You landed in Japan. Is this your first time in Japan then?
It's my first time in Japan. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So paint us a picture. You get off the plane in Hiroshima. Tell us about Japan.
Japan, I kind of thought it would be about the same as Korea, but it's not. It's just so much I guess, cleaner and sparklier and newer feeling. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to say about a country, but it's kind of just everything was, they don't have trash cans, which if you do like your homework before you leave, a lot of people will tell you they don't have trash cans and you need to carry your trash. So I was used to, I mean, I knew that would be the way, but like, if that happened here and you didn't have a trash can, you just have trash all over the floor where people want to
all over the
it.
place.
Yeah.
But everything is so nice and neat and clean. And pretty much all of the travel that was done was dictated by Jenna and Garrett, because they kind of knew where we were going. They knew what needed to be done. So they were just on their phones doing it. So I just kind of went along, which I am more of a navigator and I like to be in charge. So I was kind of just like letting myself be uncomfortable and be taken. But they found us a bus ride out to the Peace Memorial, which is where we kind of wanted to go. We had decided against spending more than a day there. It was kind of just like a layover before we went to Kyoto for the night.
What is the Peace Memorial? People won't know what that is. What is it?
So it's from the bombing of Hiroshima.
Okay.
So it's a whole, instead of making it a war memorial, they wanted to make it a peace memorial to kind of show like what happens with this kind of destruction. And it's all about like, you know, we want peace. We don't want this to happen to other countries again. So they actually left one of the bombed out dome, a very well-known dome. They just left it as it is and they never reconstructed it. So that's still all bombed out there. And then the whole memorial is just, it's essentially like a museum. So it's got like all of the clothes and all the pictures and just kind of memorials and testaments to the people that went through the whole thing. And
it's got to be a pit in your stomach kind of day.
Well, it's not only that, but it was a little bit different than being at like a museum like that, maybe here. It was dead silent. There were so many people in there. It was very, very full of people. Yet at the same time, you didn't really feel crowded because it was just so quiet and you could just hear people crying. It was crazy. Yeah.
How many of those people do you think were? Yeah, what percentage of people do you think were American?
I don't know about American, but I'm gonna say that most of them were not Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that it was a lot of people who you know, just visiting Japan and that you have to go.
In Saigon, they had a museum called the Museum of the War of American Aggression, which is what they call the Vietnam War. The War of American Aggression.
Wow.
And because my dad fought in Vietnam, his best friend fought in Vietnam, and you see everything from the American point of view and then seeing it from the other side, photos of American service people pushing Vietnamese people out of helicopters at a height where they're going to die. Pictures of people that just have all of these horrible things because of Agent Orange. Just all kinds of, it was again, very, very, very silent. And to your point, Cosette, even in Vietnam, not many Vietnamese people there. Most of the people there were from different places.
Yeah. And I think that's what they want to encourage out there is like, if you're visiting, please come and see this. And they're not, you can tell that they don't blame the United States for that at all. They kind of blame themselves a little bit and they want to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
So you started off with a kick in the gut. Like you
absolutely.
you get to Japan. You're like, what's fun? Let's go talk about the bombing.
Yeah. First the DMZ and then Hiroshima.
Well, what's the DMZ?
Yeah. You know how to have a good time.
Oh yeah, for sure. DMZ stands for demilitarized zone. So it's because the North Korea and South Korea are technically still at war. They're only under an armistice.
Right.
But the DMZ is this little band on either side of their border where you cannot have any military and they can only have one city each. So South Korea has one and then North Korea has one. And that's the one that's all propaganda. It's like a fake city. So it's both war related, lots of.
I forgot we didn't explain, Crystal. I'm glad you asked that because there might be other people going, what the hell is DMZ? Yeah.
Like a driver's license? Their version.
Wouldn't that be great?
It's about the same. It's about the same.
Equally as tedious. All right. So you get done with the Peace Memorial. What do you do then?
Well, see, my brother, he is an adventure guy. He doesn't like to sit still. So he had wanted to go on either a bike ride or a hike. And so I had tried to convince him to stay another day there so that we could do that. And we didn't have to worry about rushing to Kyoto. But in the end, I guess they decided they didn't want to do that. But we decided then to get on this little boat trip. It was just like a little cruise down the river. And we had kind of come there to see the sakura or like the cherry blossoms, but we got there just probably a week too early.
Oh, so no.
When we were, I mean, once you see one, you see, I don't know that I needed to see them for 2 weeks because they did start to bloom. As the trip went on, we got to see some of them. So, I mean, I was just glad to be there, really. But we did go down one of the rivers, and they gave us a little, little tour of like what's new, what's old, what was bombed, what was put in its place, and like how Hiroshima is now. And so we're going along the river where all these sakura trees are, and like they all have like teeny tiny little buds on them. Like, oh, that one might be blooming soon. Oh, that one might be blooming soon. We were kind of getting excited to see if we could find any that were blooming. But one thing that I will say about Hiroshima is that it was just the feel and the vibe of the city was so cool and so relaxed. Yeah. And I don't know what it was, but it was just, my brother was like, wow, I really like this place. And I don't know,
funny,
if it's
Cosette.
The people or what, it was great.
Yeah, my daughter was not that far away. So when she and her boyfriend would do getaways, they would go sometimes to Hiroshima, and she said the same thing. She was like, this is just a great city. Just really, really, really cool vibe. You wrote to us ahead of time that it was colder there than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went there knowing it was going to be cold, and it kind of looked like it was going to be rainy the whole time.
And what month?
Actually, at that time, we were there. Where were we? The end of April, we were there. But actually, the first part of the trip was warmer than we expected it to be. So me and Jenna were actually mad. We're like, oh, we packed way too much, which will come in later that we actually did not pack too much. Probably could have packed more. But at that time, it was actually warmer than we were expecting, which was kind of nice. So, I mean, I'm from the desert. I freeze no matter where I go, pretty much. So I was definitely bundled up, and we were all in like jackets and hoodies and jeans the whole time for sure. So it wasn't warm.
How tough is it then to get a train ticket to Kyoto? Is it difficult to navigate the train system?
No, it's actually really easy. I mean, I take that with a grain of salt because it wasn't me doing any of the planning.
It was super. Have your brother do it.
For me, it was great. It was Jenna, go buy the ticket. But pretty much you just wait in line, and you go up to a kiosk and you order tickets. We took the Shinkansen, which is known as the bullet train, which I was kind of excited about because, you hear about how fast they go, and they really are. You can't even tell that you're going very fast at all, and they're super smooth and very quiet. But pretty much you go up to there, and you just like kind of book whatever car you want to be in, and it will even tell you like which ones are fuller than others or more full. Geez, I don't know English, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's be more full.
So be more full?
Be more full.
But yeah, it'll show you on there like how many, like, oh, this one's kind of full, this one's not so full. And so they would just go up there and just book the tickets and Apple Pay the whole way. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was almost like a roller coaster, and it did. Like when you look out of the window, it looks fake because the buildings, they fly by so fast. Like that.
Yeah, if you're looking cool. really far out, cool. It doesn't look like you're moving. But if you like, I was looking right next to the tracks, and you're like, everything was going so fast. You're like, wow, we are going fast, but it doesn't feel like it at all.
Right? Yeah.
All right, Crystal, it is the halfway point.
Yes, it is. And we have more comments in the chat, too.
Excellent.
We have a chatty group tonight. All right, Joe, we're halfway through today's show, so I think it's time for the road trip pit stop. And on the pit stop, you're always dreaming about what's at the end of the adventure. How cool will it be when we get there? And you're asking over and over, are we there yet? But our pit stop is a hint at our gear of the day. And you can see our past gear of the day at stackingadventures.com/GOTD. But today, Cosette has our gear. So, Cosette, can you please give us a hint of what is our special gear?
I will give you a clue, and I'm not going to elaborate.
Okay.
It keeps you energized.
Keeps you energized. All right, I think I have an idea. Crystal, do you have an idea?
Yes.
All right. We will reveal what our guesses are right after our messages. We got a couple sponsors that make this keep on keeping on, and it's all free.
Yes.
Hearing about Cosette's adventure. So let's hear from them, and then we'll hear from Crystal and I with our guesses, and then we're going to wander north to Kyoto and then to Tokyo. Crystal, it keeps you energized. What do you think it is?
Well, it can't be the focus spray. Like one time I had my focus spray and I sprayed it.
A focus spray?
Yeah.
What is that?
It is. It's actually some essential oils, and they say it helps with focus.
Okay.
I wish I would.
I mean, I know exactly what that is, and you might be right.
Yeah. I'm sure that you're exactly right.
That's unfocused.
100% right. As Cosette shakes her head no, like I got no idea. I think it's gonna be some type of power bank. It'll be some kind of power bank.
Power bank. I would say like some kind of power. Well, not power bars. I was thinking more like some kind of essential oil, though, kind of like a spray.
All right. Well, those are ours. We're going to hear from Cosette what the gear of the day is in a little bit. We've got a chatty group hanging out with us on YouTube.
Thank you.
So, Jay, people commenting on kimchi. Apparently, Cosette, you and I are in the minority here.
Yes.
Because J Dubs says kimchi's the bee's knees. And Leisure Enthusiast says kimchi rules. And then said pair that with some,
I don't know, Samik?
Yes. Have you had that, Cosette?
Well, clearly nobody had it.
I don't think so.
None of us had it.
And then also Leisure Enthusiast says, my cousin was in the military and he said the food in K-Town, LA is orders of magnitude better. So you get better food in LA than you do in South Korea.
You're right.
I wasn't a big fan of the Korean food. I realized that when I was over there in the military, I did a lot of eating ramen when I was there, but it was more of like Americanized because it was right outside of our base. So when I was there actually in Seoul, like eating all the time, I was like, I don't think I like this very much, especially not when I don't eat meat, because you can't have Korean barbecue, which that's what I liked before. So
that's the VIP.
Yeah, the Korean barbecue we had in there's a little Korean area in Cleveland. I went with my niece there one time and did the whole Korean barbecue experience where you put your own meat on the grill and that was so fun. And VT says it's and I'm not sure which one it is, but he says it's HIROSHIMA, not HIROSHIMA. So we have it's Hiroshima, not Hiroshima, or maybe it's Hiroshima, not Hiroshima. VT is really helping us today.
Yeah.
VT,
whatever
who's
I've been saying this
us.
whole time, that's how you pronounce it.
There you go.
Oh, a Leisure Enthusiast says that is beer plus soju. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
You had me at beer. Had me at beer. Yes. All right. So you get on the train, you're on the bullet train and you head to Kyoto. I mean, this is a place that everybody goes to when they first go to Japan. So was Kyoto the bee's knees, to put it the way that I think it was Jay?
Kyoto.
Yeah. Kyoto. Okay. Yeah. We stayed, it was good. We did a lot of exploring. This is one of the places where we only had one room and the three of us stayed together because it was a little bit more expensive. And Jenna was trying to keep all of our rooming to $150 a night or somewhere around there.
Nice.
So
I think that might be tough in some parts of Japan, especially a place like Kyoto.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But so, I mean, she tried to kind of average it out a little bit. And then, so we spent a little bit more in some places than we did at others. But this is one of the places where we kind of had to, we wanted to keep expenses a little bit less. So the three of us stayed together. We each got our own double bed, which was kind of nice.
Oh,
except there was one night when they went out sake tasting and came back and my brother apparently snores so loud.
Oh,
I had 5 layers of stuff on my head, and I was ready to throw something very big and heavy at him. I told Jenna that I almost made her a widow.
Darn it.
Because that's like my days in the military are long over. However, I still could kill somebody.
Yeah. I much prefer sleeping in my own room. Thank you.
Man, oh man, oh man.
That is tough. Cheryl's told me too that when I have alcohol, I will snore like a beast. Yeah. Without the alcohol, I'm fine. But put a couple of those beers in me, leisure enthusiast, and I'm a snorer. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But Kyoto, I've heard obviously the beautiful temples in Kyoto, great to visit. But I've also heard, Cosette, from some people, maybe it was you, Crystal, that they're really crowded.
Yeah. There are people everywhere, but there are also temples like literally everywhere. We took this little, so my sister-in-law, Jenna, loves stamps of all kinds. And earning them is even better, right? If there's like a little scavenger hunt or something you need to do, and then you earn this little tiny badge, she loves that stuff. So there's a tram that goes out to Hiroshima, which is a lot of people know this is where like the bamboo forest, things like that are. And we ended up going there. I mean, we were going to go there. But if you make it to these 4 different stops on this tram, you get these stamps, and all the stamps together make this postcard of a picture of the tram that you're on, right? So every stop you have to get off.
Cute.
Yeah, you had to do it.
Well, of course. I mean, that was on her list, and she's the stamp girl. And so I was like, yeah, this is fun. So at all of these stops, you could get off, and like literally just in the neighborhood, there's these temples that you could just walk through. And so those are not crowded at all. There's maybe 1 or 2 other people there. But they are also the ones that the locals actually still use. So you have to, I mean, for all of these, you have to be respectful, obviously, but it's just, you'll see actual people coming in and going to pray and doing these things. And you just see like some of the coolest stuff, and you know that they've been there forever because they have all of these like wooden statues that you can tell are just weathered and, have been there for hundreds of years. And so some of them, all the ones that everybody knows about are going to be really crowded because everybody's there. But then you can have one just down the street from you that you can just walk around, and they're so cool.
What's the bamboo forest all about?
It's literally a bamboo forest. It's just a big forest.
Wow, that's how they got the name.
Tall bamboo. It is. Yeah, very, very creative people.
That's descriptive.
Yeah. Well, so it's in Hiroshima, which is a big tourist place to go because you also have, well, spoiler alert, everything that you want to do is on top of a mountain. So I climbed almost all the mountains in Japan. I tell people that I probably walked halfway to the moon on my trip to Japan because everything is up. Literally everything is up. So when you go to Hiroshima, they have a bamboo forest there, but they also have monkeys. You can go up to the mountain and see the monkeys, which we did. And these are not friendly monkeys.
Yeah, I didn't do
There's
that.
actually a big sign that says, do not point your phone at them or look at them. And Jenna did not see that sign.
Oh, so, no.
There was a monkey like standing right next to us. And there was also a monkey further away. So I was taking a picture of this monkey that was far away. And all of a sudden I hear her like shriek a little bit because she had just bent down and got right up there with her phone to this monkey. And it's a live picture. So, when you can hold the live and you can see it move, you could see it coming at her and it grabbed onto her pants and like wouldn't let her go. She has like monkey paw prints all over her pants. And me and my brother were like, didn't you see the sign? And she's like, no, I saw the other signs, but I didn't see that sign.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, don't look at those monkeys. But it was cool. You go into this little like building and you can actually feed them through like the fence. So you can buy like little peanuts and apples. So they're all out there for you to feed them, things like that. So that was fun. And then they have the bamboo forest where you walk
That would be
through.
fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then they had this big banana that you could sit on and take pictures, and they went hard into the monkeys. And then as we were coming down the mountain, we saw that people were renting rowboats on the river, and my brother was like, "You want to go rowing?" Like, yeah.
Yes.
So we made my brother be the rower, and then we noticed that my brother was looking around. He was like, I'm seeing a lot of women here that are rowing the men. And we were looking around like, yeah, we see that boat too. Keep rowing.
Right. Yeah, that's super neat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so nice for them. There was one little tiny woman in the middle of two gigantic men, and she was rowing them.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's too much.
You you also mentioned before this, you wrote to us that you did some stuff that left to your own devices, and you planned this trip, you wouldn't have done it. What are some of the things that you did that ended up being badass that you wouldn't have done, Cosette?
Well, again, it's Jenna. So when we first got to Korea, I forgot to mention this. We went into a temple, and you can rent traditional hanbok clothing. So it's what they would have worn back in the days of when that temple was being used. And you look around and everybody's wearing this stuff. And I was like, wow, that's weird. And she's like, yeah, we can rent it. We can wear it. If you ask anybody if I would be put in a dress, they'd be like, Cosette in a dress? Hell no.
Like hard pass.
And I was like, okay, let's do it, And so we went and rented it, and they dress you all up in these clothes. And then we did the same thing in Japan with kimono. So we got all dressed up, and I had two ladies like literally just dressing me in all these layers. And I told Jenna, I was like, I feel like what royalty probably felt like back in the day, where like I'm just holding my arms out and they're dressing me. And then we just walked around the gardens in Japan in our little kimono. It was a lot of fun.
How are the restaurants in Japan?
They're really cool. What I thought was kind of weird is I knew before we went that they don't really like it when you just take up space there, right? You come in, you eat, you leave. And a lot of the places there, everything they have kind of has meat in it. So if I wanted to go and hang out with them while they ate, I felt weird just sitting there. Like, I didn't want to do that. So I would just get food, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to have to at least have like some kind of beef broth or something in my ramen, which it's fine for me. Like I always did it for health purposes, nothing else. So I actually ate a lot of ramen, and I would just like pick out of the big pieces of meat and give it to my brother, which I'm sure he was happy about. So yeah, it was just kind of like go in, and a lot of them you order from like the vending machine first or whatever, and you get like this ticket, and then you sit down, and then they'll bring you your food. They don't really accommodate a lot of dietary restrictions, so don't expect that. They give you what they give you, and half the time they can't tell you what's in it because they don't speak the language. We did go to a few traditional ones where you actually, you take your shoes off, and the table is like you sit on the floor and they just bring you food, and it was amazing.
That's cool.
One of the best ones that I went to, it was in Nagano, and it was just, they don't have a menu. You just sit down and they feed you. And so I assumed that I wasn't going to be eating there, because, I assumed that later we'd just be going for sushi when I felt hungry. So I wasn't even hungry when we went. It was the best food I've ever had. She asked, she was like, does everybody have anything? And my sister-in-law's like, she doesn't eat meat. And the lady's like, you eat fish? I'm like, yeah, I eat fish. They just brought out this big bowl for everybody to eat out of. And literally everything I had was like, and they keep bringing food and bringing food and bringing food. And yeah, I was stuffed. It was probably one of the best dining experiences that I've ever had, actually.
That sounds great.
Documentary series that's on Amazon that I watch, really fun. James May, who's one of the car guys, those British car guys, he talked about his experience with the vending machines, and his point, Cosette, was that in most countries, you can kind of grok if they use the same letters that we use, like what it is. Like you can kind of figure out, okay, this is fish, this is beef, this is chicken. He said, but because everything looks like the pound sign, he's like, I have no idea. It's very difficult. That's what, did you find that difficult too, when you're ordering from this menu where there's no, it isn't the same alphabet we use?
The best thing that has ever been invented is Google Translate.
Oh,
so I use this for everything, as well as an app called Peiki. And Google Translate you can just hold it up and it will show you like what you're looking at, and then just translate that into English, but also like in the same kind of writing or where it is and what it says. So you can very easily understand. And then if it tells you what it is and you still are like, but I don't know what horse mackerel is, then you can just Google it. But
that's fabulous.
The best thing is Google Translate. It helps immensely with everything.
What was the other app?
It's called Peiki. It's Payke. And what that does is you scan any barcode and it will tell you what that thing is. So when I was like in 7-Eleven or Family Mart or whatever, and you're looking through all these things, you can scan it and it will show you whatever you're looking at. It will break down like what this is, where it's mostly sold, what it has in it, all that kind of stuff.
My daughter said the 7-Eleven experience in Japan is amazing compared to in the United States.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to strictly be a 7-Eleven. Yeah, like we went to it was 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and there was one other one that they're all kind of the same and they all sell kind of the same things. And my brother doesn't drink coffee. He only drinks energy drinks, and he could not find ones that he liked. So until we got like Family Mart was the one that carried, his brand.
Finally.
So, every time there was a Family Mart, we had to go there instead of 7-Eleven because they didn't have his brand.
Anything else in Kyoto before we move on to Tokyo?
Yes, the ninja experience.
The ninja experience.
Yeah.
By the way, I get the ninja experience every time I record with Crystal. That's what we call this, the ninja experience.
You must have very good skills. So they found this, and it's like a ninja class, right? And just like everything that we did in Japan, it way surpassed anything we could have even considered that they would be doing for us. Like all of the things that we booked that were an hour ended up an hour and a half, or, they just went above and beyond with everything we did. But the ninja experience, we walked up and they literally dress you in ninja clothes. So you have like, again, 3 people dressing you and then tying all your stuff together, and you get to put on a bandana, and like you look like a ninja by the time you're done. And it's in like this, like on a 3rd floor little area. And he just teaches you how to be a ninja, like legitimately. Like they had a wall that when you push it, it just spins around. So he taught you how to like hide in the wall if somebody came into your house. And you got to play around with swords, and he taught you how to throw shuriken, which is the little throwing stars, and you got to do blow darts. And he taught you how to walk like a ninja. And and then he had all these really old antique like tools and things that ninjas would actually use. So, and he was a great instructor. Like, just like when I think of really cool, like Japanese or Korean guys, they always have that bit of humor to them, in everything they do. And so he was funny. He taught us like, there's these hand symbols to be a ninja. And so he taught us those, and which I don't remember. My brother actually studied them because he thought they were really cool.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
But we got to play ninja. That's
awesome.
Yeah, I would have done that.
I would totally want to do that. What does an experience like that cost roughly? Do you remember at all?
Because I'm not the one who booked it, but I do remember talking to them about it, and it really was not that expensive at all. Most of the things that we booked were like, when they told me how much it was, I was like, what? For that? I will do that 100 times. It was great. And I think she used booking.com for most of these things. So they were all on the website. It wasn't hard to find these things either.
All right. Now we moving on to Tokyo?
I think so.
All right. Well,
I did so much stuff. This would be a 3-hour podcast if I told you everything.
I know. You get back on the train. Well, let's start off with this about Tokyo, because I think not
Tokyo. Tokyo is the end.
Okay.
Where we want to go, probably. I did go to Kanazawa after that for a day. We stayed at a really nice hotel here. They had an onsen, which Jenna got to partake in, but me and my brother have a lot of tattoos, and you have to be able to cover up your tattoos with patches that are like this big.
Oh.
And so they asked us, they were like, how many patches do you want? And I looked at my body and I was like,
how many you got?
11?
I would need 3 packs of those. Like,
yeah,
because you're supposed to be naked, right? And you don't have anything on. And I was like, I wouldn't be naked anymore. I'd be just covered in patches.
For people that don't know what an onsen is, what is an onsen?
It's a public bath. So, when we go up to Shibu Onsen, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm sure, is hot springs that they make into like a hot tub or a hot bath. But in the hotels, they're just essentially like a big hot tub for everybody to get into. And so Jenna booked all of these places that had onsens because she's like, oh, this sounds great. We're going to do this. And then she's the only one who got to do any of them.
You and your brother hanging out outside.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
that is the thing about Japan is like, if you do have a lot of tattoos, the good thing about it being cold when we went there and us being covered up, we got to do pretty much everything and we didn't really have to think about our tattoos. But I think if you go in the summer and if you're not wearing any, that's something that you want to be cognizant of, because you could go into like a restaurant or anywhere and they could turn you away because they are not really big on tattoos. So
yeah, and culturally too, I know my daughter, when she was on the train going to the classes that she was teaching, she always talked about, speaking on the train. People don't do that. But was it the same on the bullet train? Was it very quiet on the bullet train too? Or can you talk on that train?
They don't really like you to talk a lot. And when people do, they talk pretty quietly. They also, like in normal trains, like subway, stuff like that, you're not supposed to wear your backpack. And one thing so a lot of the research that I did, like I knew this stuff going in. What I didn't know until I got there is that they don't like it when you walk and eat. So one of the things about traveling is that, you hop into a 7-Eleven for an egg sandwich, which everybody has to eat one of those, by the way. And you can't just take it apart and just go on with your day and walk and eat, because they don't like that there. And there are some places like temples and things where it actually has a sign that says that. But for the most part, it's not allowed anywhere, really.
There was somebody else we were talking to, Crystal, where somebody was saying that, walking around with a cup of coffee is a very American thing. Like going to Starbucks and getting a cup of coffee, like you can identify an American because they're the only ones doing that. Nobody walks around with coffee like we do. Okay. So you go to the onsen, you get to wave it at your sister-in-law while she's inside, and you guys are looking through the window. Where are we off to next?
So from Kanazawa, we just kind of stayed overnight in Kanazawa because it got us that much closer to Shibu Onsen, which is in Nagano, which is the highlight of the trip. I don't even know how to put into words how awesome it was. So I'm from Wisconsin, and I am born, raised into snow. And it's also the reason that I live in Phoenix, because I don't ever want to see snow ever again in my life. And so
I think you're related to my spouse. Yeah.
No, I've seen enough of it. Don't ever have to see any of it ever again. But we go up to Nagano, which is, it's in the mountains, right? It's high up there. So we knew Olympics. It was going to be cold. Yep. Yeah. They still have the stadium up there and everything.
Oh, cool.
So again, there's another challenge for us with stamps. So of course, Jenna wanted to do it. So when you stay in Shibu Onsen, it is, it's this area of 9 different hot springs that they've made into these little onsens. And the only people who can go into them is people who are staying in the area or who live there. But they have this challenge that you do all 9 baths. And then when you're done with them, you go up to the temple that they have to pray, and then good luck will come your way or that prayer will come true, something like that. But the important part of his story is that there's stamps involved, right? So
of course
we get this towel. Of course you have to buy the towel, but then outside of every one there's stamps, and they're split up, female and male, but they're very small. So me and my brother could actually go in them because we weren't offending a whole bunch of people. It was pretty much just us. So it was the only onsens that we can get into, but they were definitely the ones to be in. And each one is like a different heat. Some of them are so hot you can barely stay in. Some of them are like no big deal. And they're all supposed to heal or cure something different. Like one of them was for eczema and one of them was for, I don't know what they all were, but because we were only staying over one night, we had to do this challenge in one night. And this was right after we had stayed at the place that we had the people just feeding us. That had no menu. And so this is Shibu Onsen as well. And that's the best meal I've ever had. And I don't even know the name of this place. But it was the people where we were staying. They told us, they're like, go here. There's no menu. They just feed you. And like this guy came out, cigarette in his mouth, bandana, pouring alcohol. And they were so cool. They were telling my brother and Jenna to go have babies. And I'm like, no, we're staying in the same room.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. And then he brought over this huge glass. And he's like, iced tea? And he gives it to my brother. And I knew it wasn't iced tea.
Oh.
I thought my brother was smart enough to know it wasn't iced tea.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
my brother shoots it back. He's like, oh, that wasn't
Oh,
iced
no.
tea. I was like, I know it wasn't iced tea. But of course, so everybody at the table got iced tea, and like they were just characters. They were such great people that we stayed there for a while. And then after that is when we had to start this 9 bath challenge, but they closed the baths at a certain time. And so we literally would go in one, we'd sit there for a minute, and there's just a wall in between the male and female. So we would call over and be like, Garrett, you ready?
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Time to go.
And then we'd get out and go to the next one. Or sometimes like ours was full and his wasn't. So he would go in one and we would go in another. So we had almost made it. We were like 3 minutes away from the last one. And we go, and the people who were coming out were like, we just got almost locked in. Like they shut off the lights on us and we could barely get out. So we're like, okay, so we didn't finish the last one. So then we're like, well, now we have to get up early in the morning before we go see monkeys, which is what we're going to do.
Because you got to get the sticker.
Oh, you have to finish.
The stamp.
I mean, you can't.
You got to get the stamp.
You can't go 8.
You can't do 8 out of 9. No.
Right.
So we get up early, and we were staying all in the same room again. This is one that had traditional beds, so you're literally laying on the floor. And we had closed all the drapes and everything, but the bathrooms are community bathrooms. So I left the room before the other two did. And I went and brushed my teeth, did whatever. And as I'm passing this huge window, I look outside and there is like snow. It's not like a little bit of snow. It wasn't supposed to snow.
Christmas.
And it wasn't just a little bit, a little dusting. It was a lot of fucking snow. And I looked at it and like, I'm sure my eyes bulged out of my head. And I ran to the room and I was like, you guys, it snowed. And I like pull the drapes open and there's all like this huge winter wonderland. Like I haven't seen this stuff since I lived in Wisconsin. It was so much snow. And the only thing I have for my feet are just like Skechers tennis shoes and they're mesh on.
Oh
top.
no.
And we're going to be climbing a mountain to go see these monkeys, which, so, and then not only that, but when you're going to these baths, you're just in a robe and sandals. Yeah. So I had bare feet, clip-clopping along on these little like cobblestones. I have a little bag with my stuff in it and I'm just like shivering just to get to this last bath. Oh my goodness. And we're like, it was beautiful, but I was like, oh God, this is the first time I've seen snow in 10 years. Oh. And I'm in sandals.
Funny.
But we finished the challenge and then we had to like book it back in order to go see the monkeys. Cause we had, they give you a shuttle. So yeah, I'm like, I can't believe it snowed. This is just absolutely crazy. And we were
I thought this story was going to end in how Cosette got frostbite.
Oh, I came pretty close. I came very close. Well, so then we get ready to leave and my brother and Jenna pull out boots. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't think of boots. What is wrong? I knew it was going to be cold. I thought it was going to be rainy. So why I didn't think of boots? I just brought a second pair of shoes in case my first got wet. But so all of the locals were amazed that it had snowed. It wasn't supposed to. And we weren't even sure, because these are called snow monkeys and they only come down the mountain when it snows. So we weren't sure that we would see a whole lot of them. Because what this place is this guy has been feeding these monkeys for a long time and he built them a hot tub. And I know I've seen it before in like National Geographic or on like calendars or stuff like that, where the monkeys are just sitting in the hot tub and there's snow all over the place. Those are the snow monkeys. So, but you have to hike up this mountain in the snow. And I'm in my Skechers and like my feet were wet. Every part of me was wet and cold. But once I got there, these weren't the mean monkeys. They weren't the ones that you couldn't aim your camera at or anything like that, because they've just been around people feeding them for so long that they're just indifferent to you. And the first rule is you need to stay a meter away from them, but they're literally walking right next to you or standing next to you. And I'm like, did anybody tell the monkeys about this 1 meter rule? Because they're right here. But it was the greatest experience to just sit there. And we had got there early enough that there wasn't really a crowd. So we got to just pretty much sit right next to the hot tub and hang out with the monkeys. One of them got out and just sat right next to me. There's this little baby one that got out and just went on a fence, like right in front of my brother's face. So he's got some cool pictures, but my toes like started freezing off. So I was like, you guys, I need to go back inside. Goodness. And then, so Jenna walked back with me and she's like, okay, Garrett's going to stay out here, because he was mesmerized by the monkeys.
Sure.
I mean, it was amazing. It was one of the coolest experience ever. Definitely once in a lifetime.
That's a time when it would suck, when you're like, I'm loving this, but I cannot stay.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the worst part of it is at the very bottom of the mountain before you walk out, they had a shoe rental place. Oh. And Jenna even pointed it out. I had been looking for a scarf and a hat the whole time I had been there. I hadn't found one. I'm like, screw it now. Like, I have a hoodie. I'll be fine. And she was like, shoe rental. And I was like, it'll be okay. Because I didn't think... we trekked up there a lot, and I didn't think we would be there for that long. And so looking back, obviously I would have rented boots or shoes or something. But I went back in and I warmed up a little bit, and they weren't out there for too much longer. You know, I wasn't waiting for them for too long, but yeah, my brother, I think if you could have left him out there like for 2 days,
still be there today.
Just fine. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was just so cool. You got to watch them swimming around and like just chilling. Like they look like people, like literally just hanging out there and like, oh, it's so nice and warm. It was once in a lifetime. Absolutely. If anybody can go up there and do that when it's snowing, do it.
That's super. We're not going to spend much time in Tokyo looking at the time, but really we don't have to, because you really don't care, Cosette. You were not that impressed with your time in Tokyo.
No, I think we spent like 3 or 4 days there. We had, up until we went to Tokyo, we had been like, every day was an adventure, and it was like almost better than the day before, and so much stuff. We went to a calligraphy class. We did all this kind of stuff. And then we get to Tokyo, and it was our plan to go and kind of visit all of the different neighborhoods. I wanted to go to Harajuku just because, you hear about it all the time, and the Harajuku girls and stuff like that, and how outrageously they're dressed and things like that. But then when we got to the Takashita Street, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. All it is it's just tourists, and they're all jam packed in there. And like, yeah, I've seen you have the same pictures as I have. It's just people on top of people on top of people. And it's the most crowded that anything ever felt to me was when I was in Tokyo. And most of the stuff that we saw was just okay. Like we really, my brother started getting anxious, and so he wanted to go to go see Mount Fuji. So we went out to, what was the name of that place? I don't even know where we went. Anyway, well, there's a place that's like 2 hours away, and it's got like a lake, and they actually have a pirate ship that you can go on, and it goes around the lake, and you can usually see Mount Fuji. Yeah. But it was so I looked at the day before, I looked at the temperature, and it said it was 31 degrees, real feel 11.
Holy.
Yeah. And me being in love with the cold as I am, I was like, we need clothes. So we actually went to, like, they had an H&M and stuff like that. So we walked around
shopping,
like, just looking for clothes. Yeah. I literally had 7 layers on when we went there.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, as we're going out there, it's 2 hours away from Tokyo where we were staying. Yeah. And I asked my brother, I was like, are we going to be able to actually see Mount Fuji? Because it's kind of rainy and foggy. Sure. He's like, nothing says that we wouldn't be able to see it. And then we get there. You can't see anything.
Nature
we could see.
You didn't see it.
Nothing. We saw a lot of other people getting wet and cold is what we saw.
We have a picture.
It was a welcome relief.
That's funny. We had the same thing, just getting out of the city, you mean, and just being, We, when we were at Denali, we have a picture. We took the bus all the way to Wonder Lake, which is way, way, way into Denali. Took half a day to get there. And we have a picture of our kids because you can only see the mountain about 20% of the time. And so the entire time we were there, we did not see the mountain. And we are like at the base of the mountain. So we have a picture of our twins pointing into the cloud where we know that the mountain is right there, but you can't see it. We're like, there's the mountain.
We have that same picture. I have a selfie of me, Jenna, and Garrett, and Jenna and Garrett have like their hands above them in a point, like where Mount Fuji should be.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It was like, that's where Mount Fuji is. But
all right.
I mean, it was great.
Okay, you alluded to this. We need one more story because you alluded to this. On the way home, you said it was good that you had the aisle seat. Well, why is that, Cosette?
I was in the military for a while, and I flew back and forth from Korea quite a few times. I've flown lots of places for very long. I mean, when I went and deployed to Afghanistan, like long flights, never had a problem. Well, I don't know if it was something I ate the night before we left or what. Like, I got up, I was feeling fine. We didn't fly out until 5 p.m. that day. Took a shower, talked to some people. I chugged a bunch of water, and it was the first thing in my stomach all day. Immediately came right back up. And from that point on, the whole travel, that's all I did. I've never thrown up on a plane before in my life. And this literally, it was like constant. We weren't even completely in the air yet. Like they made the ding sound so that all of the flight attendants could get up and start moving around. But, we aren't allowed to at that time. And I immediately got up and I started to go to the bathroom. And she's like, seatbelt sign is off. Seatbelt sign is off. It's not on. You can't get up. And I was like, I need to throw up. And she's like, seatbelt sign. I was like, I need to throw up. And she's like, okay. And she like shoved me in the bathroom. And luckily I was only like 3 rows away from it.
Oh no.
And then I come back, I sit down. I'm like, uh-oh. And I get up again. And she's like, seatbelt sign. I was like, throw up. So this time when I came out, she gave me a huge trash bag and some ginger ale. And then must have obviously told the other flight attendants because somebody else came out and was like, we're going to be in the aisle now giving people food, so you can't get up. So here's another trash bag and paper towels. Goodness. It was literally the whole thing, like the whole travel, not only from Tokyo to San Francisco, but also.
Are you sitting next to a stranger?
Oh, yeah.
You're sitting next to a stranger while you're hurling on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, she partied hard.
Luckily, it wasn't like loud or anything. It was just like, it was very quiet. And I tried to stay in my little bubble. But I had this trash bag like tucked into the thing in front of me. Like clearly everybody knew what was happening.
Yeah. I shouldn't laugh because it's so horrifying.
No,
it's not funny. But oh my God, I just, if I'm the person sitting next to you, Cosette.
Oh God, I felt so bad for everybody. I just tried to like make it like so nobody could tell. And then it's funny because we were on a layover in San Francisco, and my brother and Jenna were going to fly out an hour earlier than me. And so they got to explore the airports, which I did not get to, and I really wanted to in Japan, but I was just I was a mess.
Get a bunch of those Kit Kats, all those different Kit Kats.
I wanted just all the cool things, and so they went off. But when we were in San Francisco, I was like, okay, before you guys leave, just come and say goodbye. And I was talking to my brother, and he's like, you know what's cool is that Japan is 16 hours ahead of us, right? So in reality, we got a 40-hour day. And I was like, Garrett, today is not the day that I want to be living for 40 hours.
Oh.
And he's like,
I'd rather have the day be an hour and a half, right?
Yes. Oh my God. And I really didn't eat anything the night before, so I have no idea what it could have been. If it was, I don't know, but it literally, the poor flight attendants kept trying to give me like, will you at least eat a banana? And I'm like, no. And because I don't eat meat, I had a special meal on the flight, which if you can do that, even if you do eat meat, you get your food first. So do that all the time. Yeah. So they would bring me my food and be like, this is yours, right? I'm like, but you need to get that away from me. And they're like, what? No, eat it.
Just the smell was making you nauseous.
Oh, yeah. Especially like with everybody else having their food around me. I was like, yeah. So it took me a good like 4 or 5 days to recover from that. It's the only vacation that I've ever lost weight from. And I don't think it was just because of the illness. I think it was just all of the walking around as well.
All the walking.
Yeah. I lost like 10 pounds.
I like that part, the walking.
Cosette's weight loss journey.
Yes. Yeah. That's how you do it.
Brought to you by Jenna.
Yes.
Planned by.
That's right. Oh, that's so great, Cosette. That's awesome. What a great trip. Just trip of a lifetime. That's incredible.
For sure.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
I want to do
and I love it.
Things.
And I think, Crystal, there's something to this fact that when you don't plan it and you just got to do some stuff that's a little bit outside of the boundary of what you would do, that makes it even that much more special as well.
Absolutely. There was even a time when I was like, we were trudging up a hill and I was like, oh God, I'm so glad that Jenna could get me out of my comfort zone so that I can experience all this hiking. But it was like a lot of it was really hard, but it was also like really fun. And I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
All right. The music's coming back up, which means it's time for the gear of the day. Cosette, your hint was something about staying energized, if I remember right.
Keeps you energized, yeah.
Yes.
Keeps you energized. Snickers bar. It's a Snickers bar.
Oh,
no.
That's satisfied.
I'm going to go with a power bank.
Condoms.
She brought back the condoms from that hotel.
I did.
Yes. With my essential oil spray.
Could you see that in our Gear of the Day store? Condoms. We got condoms. And we always say these have been tested by either us or our... Oh, we've tried these condoms. They're incredible. Yeah, maybe not. And yours was an essential oil.
Yeah, some spray. Like my focus spray over there.
All right, Cosette, what do you got?
Joe is correct. It is a power bank. We were constantly on our phones. We needed them for everything, like Apple Pay and navigation and tickets and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I brought mine with me everywhere I went.
Couldn't
it came
afford
in
to
handy many
lose
times.
it. Yeah.
Was there a specific one that you liked?
Well, the one that I brought, I really liked, but then Garrett and Jenna had just a small one that's like a MagSafe one that just like, attaches itself to the back of your phone. And that one, and it was a lot smaller than the one that I had too. So for sure, like if I were going to do it again, I would buy one of those.
Yeah, that's the more I use them, the more I'm like, I want one smaller, please. It's funny because nobody's ever high-fiving each other going, I pack so much stuff. Like the more you travel, the more you're like, I got it all in this little tiny spot. Well, thanks for hanging out. And by the way, thanks for your service too. Just you've been all over the world doing some crazy stuff with the military and I gotta imagine go back to Korea without a uniform is a little bit different trip.
Completely different, 180 degrees. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I thought I had that one down for sure, but then I got there. I was like, no, being a civilian is a lot different when you're in a different country.
It's a different deal. Cool. All right, adventurers. We've already had a Japan Your Story, so we are not going to have your stories. We will have a potpourri episode coming up. So if you have more Japan stories like Cosette's, please, you'll have 5 minutes on our voicemail to tell your story. And Crystal, where do people leave that?
Yep, at stackingadventures.com/mystory. We want to hear
awesome.
from you.
Coming up next, we have some just exciting shows. Next week, Donna Peltier. Crystal joins us for Cruising 101.
Cruising.
On a Sunday afternoon.
Something new. Oh, yeah, you know it.
I do. So we're talking cruising next week. All right. She is Cosette. She is Crystal.
And I'm Joe.
And
she's Joe.
And now we'll take the show off the road.
Yep. Pack it up. Pack it up. Pack it in. Let me begin. Oh, man.